Thank you for tuning in to the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is my guy, Roman Harper. What's up?
What's up, man? Work wife extraordinaire, and appreciate it. Really excited for this next guest. Good friends. I call him a great friend. He's an amazing human being.
Great teammate.
Amazing teammate. There we go. Yeah, don't give him all of his credit. And he's now a head football coach. And so really looking forward to hearing this, how this journey has continued to move on. Amazing human being. We're probably going to barely talk about football because he has so many other things going on.
He does. Oh, that's for me. Okay, yeah. The man played 12 years for the Steelers, the Jets, and the Panthers. After playing in the NFL, he went into coaching, and he is now the head coach for Limestone University. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, Jerricho Cotchery. Won't he do it? Yes, he will.
So Jerricho, for all those that don't know, we were all teammates in 2015.
Yes.
With the Carolina Panthers. Great season. Cotchery was like that veteran leader that they brought in, and he just instantly just really was a soothing factor in that room when they lost Kelvin Benjamin. Cam Newton was being Cam Newton. And it was just this steady presence all the time. When everybody was dabbing and dancing, you just had this one little half smirk smile on the side. And that was Jerricho Cotchery. Koch, what did it mean for you to come to that team that late in your career? Was it a resurgence? What was your feel like, and like who were you for that team, for those that didn't know?
Well, at that point in time in your career, if you've played a lot of ball, you've been around some winning teams and things of that nature, people kind of see you as, a no-maintenance guy in that sense. A lot of times they look at you like you're a chaperone, but I was, just trying to make sure that I finished my career on the right note and still made plays for the team and helped contribute to the team's success. So, I enjoyed my time, especially with Pittsburgh. I think after leaving the Jets, Pittsburgh was just a place I was just going to say, hey, you know what, I'm good if I just stay here and end my career here. But the opportunity to come back south was appealing to me. And when Carolina reached out, I just wanted to make sure I came to a contender. And so they had a really good year the previous year, but I knew they had to do some retooling of the roster in order to keep moving forward. Yes. So I was confident in that. I knew they were going to play good defense, and so we were just going to have to score some points on offense to come out of the stadiums with victories. So I felt comfortable in that decision, and I'm glad I made it.
Yeah, so
that was your first year, 2015, right?
Yes. 2014.
Oh, 2014. So y'all came in at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so, he said come back down south because my man's from Alabama. Shout out Birmingham. Right here, baby, 205.
That's right. That's right.
Straight up. But anyways, he got the Alabama love, even though he went to Alabama. I mean, he's from Alabama, the state. But I just got to get this out of the way. The Super Bowl catch.
Yeah.
The one that was a catch that was ruled not no catch.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was going through your mind? How did you see that play unfolding? Because to me, that was one of those plays that really swung the game in not the Panthers' direction.
Yeah, man. Everybody in the stadium felt like it was a catch. Denver was waiting for the ball to be moved up there, and we're looking at the replay and all of that stuff. Everybody's coming over, congratulating me like, oh man, big time catch, so forth and so on. And then the referee comes back and he announces it, and everybody's looking around like, what just happened? Yeah. And then a couple plays later, strip sack, and then next thing you know, momentum of the game is just
shifted.
Different, right? And so, I mean, it was a catch. Everybody knew that. Seen some refs a few years later and like, man, yeah, we felt like it was a catch too. But I'm like, thanks.
It don't do me no good now.
But yeah, not now. But yeah, man, I'm at the end of the day though, I still look back at that season and what we were able to accomplish. You guys know how the practices and everything started. You playing a big role in all of the trash talking in the OTA practices. I'm like, man, it got real fast. OTAs really chill. We were feeling each other out and all of that. But just the competitiveness, during that time, I knew we were in for a special year.
Speaking of competitiveness, I know you've been busy, and now you wear the title of head coach. You got that title a couple months ago, and how competitive does your team look right now, and how does it feel to have that title?
Well, I'm grateful for the opportunity for sure. I think when Coach Mike Furry left to go be the receivers coach at South Carolina, they moved swiftly to offer me the job. And so they didn't even think twice about it, and I didn't even think twice about accepting it. Just the reality of what we've been able to do. I got there in 2022, and and we've made the playoffs in back-to-back years, and we got a lot of people turning down Division I offers to come play for us because they see, how much we invest in the guys personally and professionally to get them where they're trying to go. And so that's exciting, man. We have a really good group. I'm expecting us to be, what we've been, but also take it to another level on that sense. Just an aggressive group, always on the attack. I know I play receiver, but I like to see guys flying around.
You blocked. You were
So I like that. I like that element of the game. Energetic guys. I like guys with juice. I know I'm laid back, but when the ball is snapped, it's football, right? Toughness. Guys that are mentally and physically tough. Guys that are smart, guys that play fast, And if you're a 4-3 guy, just be a 4-3 guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely want our guys to play fast. So I'm excited about our group. On this level, man, it's just a lot of hungry guys. So it's so fun to coach.
Yeah.
You don't have all of the other, NIL talk, how much coach and so forth and so on. It's how much can you get me better?
Yeah.
And that's fun. That's what I lose sleep over. Now, I lose sleep over, man, how can I get this guy better? And that's fun.
So, sorry.
No,
you already sound like a head coach. Like you sound like a coach now. You I've known you as a player for so long and also just as another fellow friend and grown man. And so when I hear you talk about the way you speak about your team and the pride you seem to take in them, has being a head coach always been a goal of yours, or did that just kind of materialize? You were the wide receiver coach before, but now he left to be a wide receiver coach, and now you're the head guy. Was this in the plans? Was this in the manual of Cotcheryism?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was. I mean, I always felt like I was going to play and then coach when I was done. But I got cold feet in 2016. So, after the Super Bowl, and everything, I said, man, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
You got some kids in Mercedes.
And I got a few kids, My wife, I've been married to my wife 20 years. We have 5 kids. We homeschool, the whole shebang, man. It's really, really busy, But my youngest came in 2016, so that was a blessing there as well. But I heard all of the, horror stories about coaching, guys sleeping in offices and never seeing their families and so forth and so on. And I'm like, I think I'm straight on that. Let's find a business venture or something.
Yeah.
But it just never left, man. Just like, I'm going through that time. I'm enjoying a fall, September vacation. Like, what's that? But the idea of coaching just never left. And Coach Rivera called me right when the season was over, in 2016, and offered me an opportunity to be on this staff. And so that's where my that's where my coaching career starts, man, because I got that opportunity to play for an awesome guy.
Yeah.
And he thought enough of me to offer me that role when I got started.
Coach Rivera's a good dude. So I know when I got drafted, I knew where I was when I got the phone call. Hey, we're Chicago, we're taking with our next pick. Is it something similar when you get that phone call, when you become the head coach? Like, what were you doing when you got that phone call to say, hey, we're offering you the job, you're the head coach?
Man, finishing up dinner, telling kids, get the dishes washed, just trying
dad.
to.
Just being a dad. Just dad over there.
That's it. And got the call. And yeah, I was excited. I mean, you get some of those same juices. Like, man, like this has been a goal. Like this, we've been working towards this, and now it's right here in front of you. And so I was really excited about that, having all of those same emotions, man. And there's a lot that goes on to a head coach's plate, but it's all good. It's all good, It's just a lot of fun being in this spot and just really just helping the guys in that way.
So, go ahead. Peanut brought up like a moment. And so I would talk to my dad, who was the coach for forever. And he coached like 30-some years. And I would always ask, like, why do you do it? Like, you're never home. You're always doing this. The kids aren't good. Like, how do you do? Like, you're always frustrated and yelling. Like, why would you do this? And he would always tell me it's the reward is when you see like growth, or you see a person that couldn't do something before. You've been pouring into them, and all of a sudden the light goes off and they got it. He's like, there's no better feeling than that. That was his. What was your welcome to coaching moment that like, like this is why I'm out here?
I mean, that's the essence of it, though. That's the essence of it. And I had that coming out of this last season. One of the players, and I'm not going to say his name, but man, he just didn't understand how this works football wise. You know, he just, you know, you work, you earn everything for it. You know, nothing's going to be given to you. But he was a worker. But as far as being counted on consistently, right, being in preparation and, you know, showing up with the right attitude, you know how Ron Rivera talked about it every day, attitude, preparation, and effort, right? But just starting that starting point with attitude, just making sure all of that was in place. He didn't have it, right? And then when things didn't go his way, he was really upset about it. Didn't understand why he was being pulled out of a situation and so forth and so on. And so, just a year, it was just a year that he can't get back, you know. And, you know, going into that players meeting after the season, the exit meeting, just had a conversation with him. You're not sure where it's going to go. Either you're going to transfer or something to that point. Just seeing him, it just flipped. And he apologized for the way he behaved the entire year. Just flipped, totally flipped. And now, like, young freshmen that are coming in, they're like, man, he's awesome. Like, that's the guy I want to be like. And I'm like, well, 6 months ago, he was a totally different guy. But right now it's just flipped. It's flipped for him, positive mindset each and every day. And I'm excited about the year that he's going to have. You know.
Now, do you see a lot of similarities as a dad and being a head coach to these young men? Because you are, in a sense, I don't use the word raising, but they're what, 18 to 20, 21-ish years old, and they're still young, still doing some dumb things out there. You know, do you see that as like, my job is to kind of help raise you and teach you and show you to be a man and not just coach you to be a football player?
Well, with the COVID year, you know, you're talking 23, 24, 25, 26 now.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? It's like some older guys now.
Yeah.
You know?
We red shirt too.
I forgot about that.
We red shirt around here.
I'm like, COVID was a long time ago, man. I mean, guys still talking about COVID years and all of that stuff. But no, that is a good point. You know, most people see, you know, if in the true essence of coaching, or you see it as a calling, right? And I feel like if God has called you to something, you've already been doing that on another platform. Yeah. You know, and so for me, being married 20 years, I got 5 kids. My oldest will be in the 2025 class, right? I got to start speaking that way now because baby girl she's a 2025, right? She's getting recruited and stuff for swimming and all of that. But
that's the one that's always over at the Queens?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've already been in that setting. And so the platform has just changed, right? Now I'm kind of overseeing a bigger family, a larger family in that sense, helping young men grow, sitting down with them, giving them the real about life, about education, about football altogether, because everybody believes that they can make it to the NFL, you know, and so just what that looks like. So all of the conversations, you know, basically have been the same in that sense. It's just talking to an older group. You know, but yeah, it's a lot of similarities, and I see a lot of crossover between the conversations, you know, that I have with the players and I have with my own family.
Yeah, I don't think God called me to be a coach. I think I missed that call.
Probably not, Peanut. Probably not. But I will tell you this. I want to know from you, Jerricho, what has been this other transition for you? You went from playing to coaching, And now I'm talking about from being just a wide receivers coach or position coach to the head coach. Could you maybe talk to our listeners and viewers how big of a difference that is for as far as like your responsibilities, your day-to-day in the same, like you're not in the same room anymore.
Man, as a position coach, like you coaching ball.
Yeah.
You know, you get to shoot off all of the good tweets, you know what I mean? Like all of the graphics here and there, you know, you get
PowerPoint's on point.
I mean, PowerPoints like are phenomenal, you know. Like you get to see all of that. I mean, you get to do all of that, you know. And then when the players come in with issues, you get to say, you know what, that's I can't handle that. You got to see the big whistle for that one.
Yeah.
You know, you get to push everything out of the way and you just get to focus on
all
coaching.
the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All the big problems, it's still got to go.
Yeah. You get to coach your position and you say, man, how's coaching going? Man, coaching is going phenomenally, man. It's going well. You know, and when you get in this seat, when you get in that head coaching seat, like all of those issues are coming to you. You know, and you got to sift through all of that. So it's a lot more there. You know, probably 15 to 10% of it is football. Yeah. You know, but I'm holding on to the receiver's position right now so I can get that. Yeah. But at the same time, it's still a beautiful thing, especially when you have a great staff. Those guys are taking care of their responsibilities, handling their groups, so you don't have to worry about, you know, taking care of things that they can take care of. And so, but yeah, it is a different transition for sure.
Every team I've been on, whether it be high school, college, NFL, there's always been some form of a philosophy, a saying. And here in Carolina, it's keep pounding. Have you developed or do you have a philosophy that you've set forth for your team?
Yeah, I kind of touched on it a little earlier. It's kind of twofold though, but I was given it's an acronym V.E.T.S. You know when you see a vet, you know you can count on a vet, right?
No doubt.
And so I just used that acronym V.E.T.S., but I add another S to it, and so all of those things that I was talking about. You know, just the viciousness of the game, guys being aggressive, being on the attack, the energetic E, right? Tough, smart, speed element, all of those, we kind of build around that. And then, but I also communicate with the guys that you'll always be students, you won't always be athletes. And so you got to be prepared for that athlete to drop. You know, and what you're going to be when once that happens, right? And if you want to hold on to athlete, all right, cool, hold on to it. Let me add another word to it, former, right? You know, because it's going to stop, you know, and no matter how long you play, right? What Tom Brady got a lot of years, but it still stopped, right? And so he has to transition and do something else. He has to be a student of something else. He has to go learn that. He has to grow in that field. And so we prepare guys to be professionals, right? And so that's the big part that we try to communicate to the guys on that level. Like,
sorry, I was just like, but do they actually understand when you say that how much power that has? Because you lived it and did it way longer than 98% of them. Do they actually realize that when they're actually having the person like you explaining this to them?
Yeah, well, I go into it with the intention that they don't understand it. And so I repeat it and I repeat it and I repeat it over and over and over again until it starts resonating with them, you know. And some of the players on the team don't even know that I played in the league.
How?
It's yeah. And if they do, they just see it as, okay, you played, right? And they don't know what level you played at. And so, you know, I had an interview, you know, a couple weeks back, and the guy was asking me, you know, do the players, you know, come to you and say, hey, coach, we can take you and stuff like that. And, you know, I was feeling good about myself in the interview, and I was like, nah, my players don't chart me like that, you know? And just had some players this week like, hey, coach, I would have locked you down. And I'm like, come on now. Come on. Like, come on. But yeah, I just repeat the message over and over again with that understanding that, especially at a young age, man, I'm also training them how to listen. To be honest, man, I'm not going to buy into, you know, they can only pay attention for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They're human beings, right? Beautiful brain, You know, they're not animals. You know, you tell a dog to sit down, you know, and 20 seconds later, he's back up running around. You know, you expect that.
Yes.
Right. But from human beings, man, I expect you, you know what I mean, to be able to lock in on your job, lock in on what we're trying to give you, right? So you can go out and execute that, you know? So, yeah, I'm training their minds in that way as well. But they get the breaks. I'm not sounding like I'm going to go in there for 2 hours straight and just giving them business. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to listen to that? But no, I'm just trying to train them in every respect, the totality of the person.
Now, are you like a Dan Campbell type guy? Are you doing up downs, burpees with the team, the buy-ins? You know, he do like 40 burpees for the buy-in.
That's a Saints thing that got started years ago.
Well, be quiet. We ain't talking about the Saints. Oh my God, everything don't have to. Now he thinks just because he in a Hall of Fame ring of honor, they got his.
Nobody.
Oh my God!
Thank you.
Oh my gosh! Here, man. Just wipe that off. I give you your flowers.
Yeah.
We not talking about the Saints.
We're the Saints too.
We
though.
Panthers.
See?
No. I'm talking about. He talking about that other team.
The other team.
We in Carolina right now. Let's just be Carolina Panthers, okay? We all know we not talking about them right now. Okay, sorry. Back to you, young sir. Killing me right now. Now, do you do the burpees with the team? You do anything like that? Or you just kind of walking around with the whistle and just, hey, we burning daylight over here?
Yeah, no, I gotta stay in shape. One,
Yeah.
So the running part of it, you know, I'm gonna get some runs in. If my group has to do, you know, the up downs, if the offense has to do up downs for, you know, turnovers in practice or something like that at the end of the practice, you know, you got to play it in the middle, right? You can't just be the offensive coach.
But do you really play it in the middle though? Do you really? Are you more favorite?
I don't think anything in life is 50-50.
No.
I don't think anything in life. Everything's
Let's
be real.
it's fluid.
Chico was a defensive coach, and then he was like, I know he was a head coach.
Yeah.
But he was a defensive head coach.
Yeah, but every time the offense did good, he was extremely happy after practice.
Yeah.
Like when the offense had a good day, that means Rivera was happy, he was in a good mood.
Yeah.
Like if the offense did not have a good day, and then that would usually be you kind of knowing that was going to happen because Cam wasn't dancing before practice. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like you knew what day you were going to have. It's based upon Cam's actions.
You did say that to me one day.
Jerricho, am I lying?
He did. No. So I think my first year here, I was so trying. He was like, "Oh, we stretching." He was like, "Oh, we gonna have a good day," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Hey, Cam over there dancing." And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe a week or two goes by. He goes, we're stretching again. He goes, yeah, it's going to be one of them days. Hey, Peanut, just get ready to run. It's going to be one of them days. And sure, what happened? He had a bad day. He wasn't over there dancing. We got yelled at. And I remember looking at him and was like, you called it. He absolutely called it.
He has a tendency, and this is what his tendency was. Jerricho knows this very well. He's an older vet that was closely attached, and anytime you got a player like that is so impactful emotionally to everything around you, like he affected it all from the music that he decided to try and play in pre-practice where he's like, today I'm not going to stretch and I'm going to have a good time and I'm going to dance. Everybody's going to have a good time. If he's not in that mood, then we're probably not going to have that type of day. Would you say anybody has impacted you or who you would like to emulate as a coach? Like who's probably affected you, who you'd like to try and emulate the most as a head coach?
I bottled them all up.
Okay.
You know, when I was drafted to the Jets, Herm Edwards was the head coach.
Oh yeah, Herm.
Yeah. So
can't do it.
That was
won't do it. Yeah.
That was an awesome
game.
introduction into the league. You know, because everything was about maturity, right? Showing consistency that you can be trusted. You know, that's the only way that rookies were going to play for Herm. Right, you had to show that you can be trusted, you know, and so I made it my business each and every day to try and show that I was a guy that can be trusted. But that was a great introduction. The guy that took it to the next level for me was Eric Mangini, and this was solely from I had a great phenomenal relationship with him, but when it came to preparing for your opponent. we knew our opponents, right?
Did not know this about him.
Yeah,
I did not know this.
We knew them to a T, and that kind of made me see Bill Belichick in a different light too, because they were boys, right? He came from that, and so like from a preparation standpoint, man, I was just blown away because he always created urgency in that way. Where like, you come in on Wednesday, you better know something about your opponent already.
Yeah.
You better know height, weight, size, who the dime is as a receiver.
Yep.
I mean, we're in base on Wednesday, coach. You know what I mean? Like, you better know these guys to a T. What college he went to, like.
Y'all was super detailed.
Man, you better know all of this, right? You better know all of this favorite move. You better know all of that stuff. And so we knew our opponents, and we were slowly building our roster to, that talented roster that we ended up seeing in 2009 when we went to the AFC Championship game. But yeah, from a preparation standpoint, man, I mean, football IQ, he would increase it.
Yes.
He would increase it. And then after him, Rex Ryan.
Yep, Rexy.
And so Rex came in, and he doesn't get enough credit for what type of defensive coordinator he was. I mean, he's up there. He has to be top 5 all the time, in my opinion, based off of, how we schemed guys. I mean, his defenses were always up there in the top 5.
Yeah.
They were challenging LeBeau's defenses, right? Ryan Clark gonna hit me up and say, all right, what? But it's up there, right? When he was with the Ravens, it was the same thing. He came to us with the Jets and flipped it right then and there in the first year we were number 1.
Yep. It's kind of like exactly what you said. Like when you were just coaching, he was the coordinator, defense way high. Mm-hmm. Now when you come to the head coach, it's not always... You're not always in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah.
So you ain't always in control. I'm the face now.
Yeah.
I'm not in the back grinding through like I used to do.
Yeah.
So you don't have as much input on some of the ingredients that go into the food.
Right.
So, but these coaches all...
Yeah, I just learned a great deal from him, and then moving quickly to Mike Tomlin, Mike T, being there 3 years. I was there 3 years and watched him in action up close and personal. How he navigated everything and just getting his guys ready for every day, every work day, and the competitiveness of the entire environment. It was there. Like, you're a practice squad guy, but you better be ready.
Yeah.
Like, you better be ready.
Having everybody
Because
ready.
When we call your number, we don't want any excuses whatsoever. And then finishing up with Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
So like that was a great list for me. To learn from, and I bottle up everything, from all of those guys.
With some of these things that you bottled up, did you actually get out of this bottle where maybe what is the difference between maybe being a minority head coach versus your traditional white guy head coach? You had Rivera and Tomlin towards the end.
Yeah.
Have you been able to look at that situation differently, how they were treated, how they had to act, versus anything else, or is it just head coach is just a head coach that's a head coach?
Yeah, it was just head coach for me. Then from my perspective, didn't see Herm Edwards being treated any differently. Than Eric Mangini. Yeah. Right? Mangini got fired after a 9-7 season.
No doubt.
And then that same, the very next year we're in the AFC Championship game. And Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Like they're all about ball.
Yeah.
They're all about ball.
They have like 3 or 4 coaches in like
the history of the 100 years.
It's
insane.
Yes.
Yeah. And so just seeing it there, and then just from my own experience, man, just the swift nature in which I was hired.
Yeah.
It's like, everybody around, kind of around the building was kind of on board with that, like, you better move fast. And so I'm extremely grateful for the journey that I've been able to be on.
You've just listed like a lot of good coaches who have great leadership qualities. I know when I came here, Rome was like the voice of the voice of the DBs. I had a leadership role, but mine was more quiet, like, hey, just kind of do what I do. That's kind of how I'm leading. I let Rome kind of take the lead role in the DB room. Every team you've been on, and you have a reputation of just being like just a stoic, solid leader. Do you take pride in that?
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. I tell the guys, know who you are, know what you had to offer. That's one of the messages there to keep guys level-headed.
Yeah.
You know, you make a bad play, man, know who you are, know what you had to offer, right? You're good. You don't all of a sudden just turn into the worst player ever just because you dropped the ball. You know what I mean? Just move on. You know you're a good player, move on to the next thing. So yeah. That's a big thing. That was a big thing for me. Not minimizing that. That's a part of who I am. And so if I'm not giving that to the team, if I'm not giving that to a locker room, then I'm kind of hurting them in that sense.
Where do you think that came from? Where do you think your leadership qualities came from?
My dad. You know, growing up in Alabama, man. You know, football, man. It's
the whole state.
I mean, that's what it is. And still, when you come out of the womb, man, they ask you, who are you rooting for, Alabama or Auburn?
That's all you get.
Let's get this over with now, you know. But my dad, huge, you know, football fan, and understood, you know, what football was about. What football is about. It's about the team.
Yeah.
It's about the team. And so he never asked me individual like questions. So even when I was up in New York and he's getting older, can't fly up all the time, you know, he couldn't see the game, nothing but the highlights. He would just ask me, how did you guys do? How did the team do? Like throughout my whole football career, it was, how did the team do? Like you guys played well, this and that. It was always about the team. So in my mind always has thought in that way, you know, like how can I help the team? And so that carried throughout, and just wanted to be a guy that didn't hurt the team in that way, causing distractions and other things of that nature, but just trying to make sure I'm accountable, holding up my end, you know, so I can contribute to that success.
And I take a couple words from what you just said, talking about hurting the team, okay? Hurting the team. All right, remember that. You said that, hurting the team.
Yeah.
We did an interview with my man Braylon Edwards during the Super Bowl in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right? And he talked about hurting the team.
Yeah.
All right. And he talked about Brian Schottenheimer in the AFC Championship Game in 2009, hurting the team.
Yeah.
Because he didn't give you and Braylon the ball no more in the second half. He said, bro, in the first half, Jerricho had 5. Well, he had over 100 yards receiving in the first half. Jerricho had 5 catching for 102 yards. And now we just don't stop throwing the rock. Like, what you remember about that game?
Well, those were our stats the previous week versus the Patriots. Like we slung it around versus the Patriots, right?
So why y'all not throw it around?
Well, we came out flat. We came out flat in that game. You have to realize too, your opponents have something to do with it.
Okay.
You know, Lamar Woodley on one side, James Harrison Debo on the other side, Big Casey Hampton, Brett Kiesel, Aaron Smith, right? James Farrier.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense was stacked, right? So there's only so much slinging it around you can do, right? You don't want to be sitting back there holding that ball, you know. So, but we did come out flat as a team, and you know, for whatever reason, that's what happened. You can't do that in those types of games, right? So you get in a 24-3 hole at halftime, and that's hard to come back from. But we almost did it, you know. And I think some of that is coming from, you know, we did sling it around a little bit in the second half, but it was more, you know, up-tempo stuff. Because we were behind.
Play catch up.
Yeah, playing catch up, you know. But no, I thought we had a good game plan going into that game. Thought we had a really good game plan going into that game.
They just had something to say about it.
Yeah, they just had something to say about it. And when you get into that type of hole, then, you know, everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth, right?
Yeah.
You know.
You sound like a real coach, Jerricho. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. You sound like a real coach.
Real coach. 12 years, 3 teams. What do you think your proudest NFL moment was?
Oh, man.
That must have been a good one because I heard the deep sigh.
We just made some plays.
Yeah. That's a good thing. You got to think about it.
Yeah. You know, just the accomplishments in New York.
Okay.
Just ain't really won since either.
Yeah, the accomplishments there. Won a lot of games in New York.
Yeah.
And we went to back-to-back AFC Championship games. But that first one we went to was was different.
Yeah.
You know, when you're flying back from San Diego, because San Diego had, at the time, it's San Diego LA Chargers now, but San Diego had the number one offense and the number one defense. And we went out there. They had the first round bye. They were 14-2. Like, they were really good. They were stacked.
Marty ball.
They were stacked, man. And we went out there and beat them, playing our ball, like ground and pound. You know, good defense, running the ball, keeping the chains moving. Right, and we got out of the stadium with a victory. Now we're flying back, and the top of the Empire State Building is green.
That's cool.
That's different, man. That's a little different, you know. And so yeah, I mean, just that accomplishment there with that group, because of the way that it was building, that was, I mean, that, you know, I mean that's at the top. That's at the top. But being able to finish my career here in Carolina and how we won, I don't think we get enough credit for how we won. So, you know, we ended 2014 on a 4-game winning streak in the regular season. And we started 2015 with a 14-game winning streak in the regular season, right? That's 18 regular season games in a row. Like, from the last time I've heard about it, that's a lot of winning, right? And the only people that can be put in that category, you know, Miami Dolphins, right? They went all the way through, and then the Patriots, right? Then you got that team, the Panthers, you know? Great point. And so, like, yeah, it's like different conversations. Sometimes I don't think, you know, as a Panthers fan, you know, and people that have been around, I don't think we take time to, like, sit back and look at like what we did. You know, what we did as a group. Because what we did as a group was, like, really, really crazy, man.
Special.
It was special. And, you know, when I came back in 2017 to coach, the fan base was a lot bigger.
It was.
It was a lot bigger. We were going on the road and we're playing up there in Washington, and I see a lot of blue in the stands. I'm like, this is different from 15.
Yeah.
Right. This is different. This fan base is larger now. And so I think sometimes you got to, you know, because you're moving so fast in life, sometimes you got to step back for a second, man, and just, you know, just kind of be grateful and see, you know, see some of the things that you were able to accomplish.
I like that. So my last question. Mount Rushmore, you have had an amazing career, life, success, marriage, kids, head coach. Who are 4 people on your Mount Rushmore of influence?
Ooh, just my parents. They take up 2 spots there.
Yeah.
Oh, you can put them as one.
Mom, I can. Yeah, there you go. Look at that, man. There you go. All right, my parents.
I know your dad root for it.
All right, so my parents. You know, one of my brothers, man. We spent a lot of time together. He's 6 years older than me, but we were.
What's his name?
Sid. We call him Sid. You know, he was more like that father figure for me, right? Bought my first pair of J's, right? After school, I was climbing a tree in the J's. And he came out like, get your tail out of that tree, man. But he's second. My grandmother on my mom's side, Rebecca, she was strong Christian woman, man, who was upright in everything, you know. All the way to death. Mm-hmm. You know, she's up there. And then that 4th one, man. That's a tough one. I mean, both of my grandmothers, they have to be there because I never met my granddads. Yeah. They passed before I was born, you know, and so yeah. Both of my grandmothers, my brother said, and my parents there. Yeah, that's a good group. It's a good group for us.
Solid group,
baby. It's
yours.
Yeah, you love it. Cotchery, man, thanks, dog. I appreciate you having us, man. Helping coming over here, showing some love. Congrats to everything you're doing. Congrats to your daughter getting recruited. I still see you in the neighborhood every now and then you pass through. And now that I know it's you, I will honk next time. I think I just text you. I was like, bro, I think I saw you. But man, it's always good, man. Really love what you're doing. So happy and proud of you, man. You deserve the world because of the person you are on and off the field. nobody's going to ever talk about the plays you made on the field because of how much you've impacted them off the field. So just as a player, a constant professional, and you are the epitome of a pro. And so I know that's the ultimate compliment in football.
Oh, man, I appreciate you guys, man. It was an honor being on with you two legends, man.
Oh, man, appreciate that. If you guys want to check out this podcast, check out the NFL's YouTube channel on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, follow Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. I'm Peanut Tillman. This is the NFL Player Second Acts Podcast. And don't forget, my co-host, one Roman Harper. We out.